guys right now.
Now we're all ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ETTO Comic Cast. It's a bit different.
It's a little bit different.
It's different. We're in the same room. This is so exciting.
Sorry, you can't. If you're listening, you can't tell, but we're all touching Ben.
Yeah.
We're all touching Ben.
I'm not touching anyone, but
Yeah. Ben's gone.
I am being touched. But yeah, we are in the same room, which is very exciting. It means things might be a bit janky for this one because we were anything but prepared.
Usually these are so seamless as well, the comic cast. Nothing goes wrong.
No, never ever goes wrong.
No.
But of course, with the Marvel Hawkeye show coming out a week from now.
Next week.
We've decided we're going to do a little special comic cast thingamajig where we're doing 2 months of Hawkeye.
Yes.
So how it's going to work is we're going to split it up. 1 month is going to be the first 6 issues and like the usual fact stuff we do at the top. And then December, we will do the final 7 issues. And then everyone's comments that we normally pull in at the end, we'll pull them in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's basically one big episode cut up into 2 smaller episodes. And we also will be recording them
separately.
We'll
be wearing different clothes in each of them.
Correct.
So basically, not a lot is changing. It's just split in half.
Yes.
That's the gist of the 10 minutes I took to just say that. But anyway, Hawkeye. Great comic. Which Hawkeye comic are we doing, guys?
We're doing Hawkeye Freefall, which arrived 2 years ago. It was really, really good.
Arrived.
It launched, and it's about... it's not that one, is it?
Josh, which one are we doing?
Are we doing the MASH continuation from post
MASH?
1980, 70, whatever?
Yeah.
That is a reference and a half.
Is that it? Yeah? It's not that one?
Not that one?
No.
Boring then.
We're doing Hawkeye 1983.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. It's very cool.
Hawkeye Moondragon.
It's a bit unfortunate though because everyone here has read a different run.
Damn.
We, of course, have read Hawkeye 2012 by Matt Fraction and David
Bautista.
Is it Aja?
Yeah. I don't know
He's
how
Spanish,
to say it.
so I don't. It's one of the two.
There could be a twang. But
There's probably a twang, but it's the three of us. It's one of our favorite collective comics.
Yeah.
We've all read it multiple times, so this is not our first time, unlike many of the other comics we've done.
Absolutely. Yes. Do you own it in some form? Do you have the trade yet? You're on the way to the trade, right?
I did own one of the trade paperbacks, the first 5, because first of all, the trades are collected really weirdly.
Yeah.
They have other issues from other runs sprinkled in, but I had the first trade, which is My Life as a Weapon, I think.
Yes.
I had that one, gave it to my sister basically, because I was like, I'm going to get the full big one that's coming out at the end of the year, which I have ordered, but I haven't had shipped. So I will be getting it sometime soon. But I tried to get all the other trades. Number 2 is impossible to track down. It is because that's the one with the pizza dog issue, which is
of course
one of the most famous issues. And so I was just
easiest to just get the big boy.
I just stopped bothering to try and find it. And I was like, you know what? Mary, take this one. I'm going to get the big one.
Nice.
So I will own it physically soon. I believe both of you own it in different ways.
I own number 1 as a signed copy, but that's the only issue I own.
So jealous.
But Joshua?
Yeah, I ended up tracking down all of them earlier this year after a single visit to a random comic book shop that seemingly closed a month later.
Not even a month.
Yeah.
We checked the weeks after I was gone and it was not there anymore.
It just didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
I was contacting the guy. I found him on Facebook.
I didn't know that this had happened.
Yeah.
I only knew the place existed. I didn't realize it had closed.
Yeah. Because we were just going through and I found, 12 of the issues or something, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to get all of them because most of them are here.
Yeah.
Ended up, tracking them down over time. Issue 1, though, the hardest one that I thought was going to, the one that was the hardest to get.
Yeah. That and 11 are the two, again, pizza dog.
Yeah.
So the pizza dog one, I just found on eBay and managed to buy and ship from America, I think. And I think that also was with maybe 13 or 14. I don't know what issue that is, but the same person was selling both individually.
Yep.
And I was like, can I get both and save on shipping? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he actually like combined, like deleted those listings, made a whole new one. Like he was amazing. That dude was
Yeah.
great. But probably only a few weeks after was it the same time? Was it your same visit? Because you were here for both of them.
Yeah.
Supernova.
Yeah.
That wasn't the same visit, was it? Or was
No, it was a separate one.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Went to Supernova and chatted to a comic book stall guy. It was like, hey, just wondering whether you happen to have or know of anyone selling a Hawkeye issue 1. And he was like, yeah, I've actually got one I was thinking of selling. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And his store was probably about 10, 15 minutes away. So I just drove over to it.
Yeah.
He happened to be in, because it was COVID times.
Yeah.
So he happened to just be going to pick up some stuff from his store. I think people must have ordered things, and he was going, and he was just like, yeah, just meet me here at this time. I'm like, oh, I can do that. I will be
anytime.
there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Freaking reasonable price too. Like I thought it was going to be, well over $100, but it was
Yeah.
like half of that. It was insane.
And you own a signed issue 1?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was they've signed by Matt Fraction, not by however we say our other friend's name, but just Matt Fraction.
I've got to say it again, so I'm going to go with
sick.
Aya.
Aya feels right.
But so, and of course, issue 1's normally very hard to find, but issue 1's for this in particular, which is a very critically acclaimed comics run.
Oh yeah.
Very hard to find these issue 1's.
Yeah.
Got messages from both these guys when they found their various ones, being like, "Oh my god, I got it!"
It's like, how?
Yeah. And again, that is why I have not bothered. I'm just like, I'm happy with the trade. It's fine. It'll be okay.
Be a good trade.
Unless I stumble upon a pizza dog or an issue 1 for like $10, which is not going to happen.
Just never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll collect other comics. Anyway, that was a long roundabout bit to get to the section of the facts called the Comic Curiosities.
There it is.
With Matt Fact.
Oh, nice.
I should have done that joke beforehand.
Yeah.
The fract. Oh, no.
Well, you're fractioning it.
I'm
It's correct.
I'm
great
still
gag.
fractioning it.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway, so the
Planned.
writer of Hawkeye 2012, number 1 to 13 and 14 to 22, but we're just doing 1 to 13, is Matt Fraction. That's not his name. His name's Matt Fritchman.
What?
I actually didn't know this till today.
Oh, there you go.
But it does make sense that his surname, not Fraction. That is his pen name.
Richmond.
Um,
That'd be like Jewish, because often they have like a man at the end, like a something. With
Yeah.
I think so.
Maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Possibly.
It's a Jewish name.
Yeah. But yeah,
That's crazy.
He started his career in creator-owned comics using that name, and it kind of just stuck. So he went with it. Then shifted to work on a bunch of Marvel stuff. Worked on Immortal Iron Fist, Mighty Thor, Uncanny X-Men. I have read the Mighty Thor run. It's okay. It's not this, but it's okay. And then the most notable thing he did before Hawkeye was he wrote Invincible Iron Man, which led to him being on the set as a consultant on Iron Man 2.
Whoa.
It's a shame it was Iron Man 2, but at the same time, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he wrote the tie-in video game as well, which I
Cool.
don't know anything about.
I played a little bit of it. I've got it. I brought it here.
Okay. I'm going to assume it was also not very good.
Bit rough.
Um,
RDJ didn't come back for that one. He came back for the first one, but he didn't come back for that one. So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The age of movie tie-ins.
The best.
Yeah.
Greatest games.
Other stuff he did with Marvel, he wrote the Fear Itself limited series in 2011 and did a new run of Defenders. And then 2012, he started the Hawkeye run, which is the thing he's most, one of two things he's most well known for. We'll get to the other thing. And then he launched 2 Fantastic Four books that year and swiftly left them because he was too busy doing other things. So I did get this from Wikipedia. In February 2013, he was named on IGN's list of the best tweeters in comics which described him as the premier comics Twitter personality.
Wow.
This is very funny because he's no longer on Twitter.
That is great.
Yeah.
As we all should be.
Yeah.
What an interesting award.
Yeah. It's
Just in general.
Very
the
specific.
fact they had a best tweeters in comics, the fact that he won it, and then the fact that
He left.
He left Twitter.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Go out on a high.
And then the other thing he's really well known for, which I have read some of, is Sex Criminals. It's
yeah,
a fantastic comic, very much not safe for work. So don't give it to any of the kids to read, but it is very, very good. That is with Image. He did that with Chip Zdarsky, who is also a very, very prolific writer. And yeah, since then, done a bunch of work on other Image projects. So like a bunch of creator-owned stuff. He did one DC project from all I could find, which was Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, which apparently is a series of DC comics.
Yeah, cool. That feels like something.
I feel like I've heard
It does feel like something he would do for sure. And then this is where it gets weird. He a company he started with his wife called Milk Fed Criminal Masterminds.
Okay.
And then over the course of like 4 or 5 years, signed deals with both Universal and Legendary, their TV divisions, to produce adaptations on comics and write other original series.
Yeah.
From what I can find, never actually made one of those series or released anything.
Oh, wow.
He's basically just been working on like Sex Criminals and other Image comics up until last year. Sex Criminals wrapped up with issue 69 last year.
Of course it did.
Wasn't actually issue 69, but that's the joke.
That's the bit. Good.
That's the joke.
great.
And he's a triple Eisner Award winner.
Whoa.
Dang.
So yeah, Best New Series 2009 for Invincible Iron Man. Best Single Issue or Story 2014, Hawkeye number 11, the Pizza Dog
Nice,
issue.
of course.
Again, we won't get to it this time, but it will be in the second half. And then, 2014, Best New Series for Sex Criminals.
Very cool.
Yep.
Okay.
Nominated for a bunch of other ones with Hawkeye, but those are his winners.
And like with the Invincible Iron Man, I think that was also the reason he got a credit in Shang-Chi, was that was kind of the relaunch of the Mandarin not being a very racist character.
Oh, really?
He wrote that. He fixed the Mandarin in that
cool.
run of comics.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that's why he's
very
got a
cool.
little special thanks in the Shang-Chi
Yeah.
credits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
interesting because it's like it feels like his power period was the early 2010s, and he's kind of like petered off since then. But it was like a power period.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of writers like your Dan Slots that are like had an amazing period and then just kept going. You're like, yeah, you probably could have stopped.
Yeah.
So maybe it's for the best.
I kind of like that he's like pulled away from it, and there's a bunch of other new creators, some of which we've done stuff on that have popped up. It's kind of like making space for people. Have your time.
Totally.
Pull back out. It's very, very
Let
cool.
the new talent in.
Yeah. The artist and cover artist for all of these issues, artist for most of them. I'll note where he isn't, but most notably David Ayer. We're gonna go with Ayer.
Let's go with it.
David Ayer, most notably worked on Immortal Iron Fist with Fraction as well as Hawkeye. He also illustrated an issue of Batman Black and White series. It's like an anthology series. You've probably seen it in comic book shops if you've been to them over the past couple of years, but basically he did issue 2 of that.
Is that like going along with those figures, the black and white figures that they've got too?
Maybe.
I think so. It's supposed to be, I think it's like their dark issue from what I know.
Sure.
No, maybe it was the Black Label ones where his penis was out. I
That
can't
was black.
remember.
That was definitely Black Label. Yeah.
But there was, I'm not sure if it was these or not. But anyway, Batman's penis was out in the comic. If you want to find out more about
You'll
it.
never be able to get it though because they
Yeah, that's true.
it.
Yeah.
And remarkably, given how much shorter my summary was for him, he has won more Eisner Awards than Matt Fraction.
Wow.
So obviously he co-won the award for Pizza Dog issue for the best single issue in 2014. Was best penciler and inker in 2013. And best cover artist 2013 and 2014. All of his for Hawkeye, but he won more awards for it than Matt Fraction did.
That's pretty nuts.
Which I think makes sense given the fact that like I think a lot of why this is so iconic to people is because of like the art and stuff.
Definitely.
And yeah, I mean they're basing a TV show off of the visual style.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like they're like, and it's not to discredit Matt Fraction.
No, totally.
Whilst reading it, there are every now and then it slips into needing to be a comic book, and that's when it really falls a little bit flat.
Yeah.
And the art really picks it up.
There are some pages where it's like, this is a lot of words.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, definitely the art is nonstop.
Yeah. And then the colorist, who barely ever gets talked about with these comics, but also deserves the shout out is Matt Hollingsworth. This man has been working in comics for 30 years, since 1991.
Oh, he's as old as me.
Yeah.
Well,
He's not as old as you.
his career in comics is as old as me.
Yeah.
Imagine if he started when he was born. He came out of the womb with a pen.
A coloured pen.
Specifically
a coloured
Yeah,
colored biro.
yeah. Because he doesn't write. He doesn't draw the lines. He only colors them in.
just
Yeah,
colours them
that's
in.
it.
He's just coloring books.
Oh, yeah, he probably came out with a crayon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
have come out with a pen.
Do you reckon he still does those like adult coloring books?
Gotcha. Yeah,
I hope so.
Do you reckon a colorist would do that, or do you reckon it's below?
Yeah,
them?
because it's like it's like doing your day job for fun, which
Yeah,
I
that's
guess is
true.
kind of what we're doing currently. But it's like I feel like I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't, and it's also because it's so much in your hand. Like you
That's
want to
true.
rest
That's true.
your hand. You
That's
wouldn't
true.
want to.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
true. I just like the idea of this man
Just do it, never stopping.
just never
He's
stopping.
like John Hurt in the fourth Indiana Jones movie, how his hands just keep doing that and they just put paper under it and just
Yeah.
let it happen.
I'm amazed you remember
course.
that because it's the fourth
It's
Indiana
the shit
Jones
one.
movie.
It was a cool idea. They're like,
Yeah.
why? He's doing this weird thing with his hand. What's that about? And then they put a piece of paper under it and he draws the coordinates for a map.
Oh,
For
that's
some
right.
reason, I feel like I remember
No,
that, and I don't know if I've seen that movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool bit. It's a cool idea.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a good movie.
Not a good idea.
Anyway, Matt Hollingsworth colors for Catwoman, Batman, Daredevil, and Preacher. Those are some of the stuff he's done.
God, I want to read Preacher.
The other one I'll mention, kind of relevant to stuff we've seen recently, he worked on colors for the 2006 Eternal series by Neil Gaiman, which heavily inspired the new film. Like a lot of the story was
We
pulled
all
out of
love
that
that
comic.
Cool.
We all loved that film
Yeah.
for sure. But you should definitely, I know Will doesn't like the film, but you should definitely still read those. ones.
I've started
They're very
reading
good.
those. I've
Okay.
started reading, and the one thing I'll say is I'm there's already hit a point where I'm like, I wish that was in the movie. The idea of someone not knowing.
Yeah.
I think Josh and I had talked about. I thought that was
Yeah.
going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
The idea of an Eternal being unaware.
Yeah.
Is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully they use that in the
Yeah,
future.
totally. But yeah, he's also worked as a texture painter and technical director for VFX, including on Superman Returns and Fantastic Four. So
cool.
both like early 2000s
Yeah.
films. And he has been nominated for multiple Eisner Awards, including for Hawkeye, but only won in 1997 for Best Colorist on a bunch of different things.
I mean,
but
it's still one, isn't it?
so he's won one, but
Yeah.
I will say he has the oldest
That's
Eisner Award,
true,
so maybe
it's
that
true.
deserves his own award.
For being the oldest out of four people.
Wonder when the Eisner Awards started.
97.
They were definitely in the early 90s in my research that
Yeah,
I've been doing over them. There's also another set of awards called the Harvey Award, but if I started listing all those off as well, it'd just get very long.
We get it. You're good.
You get it. You could do things.
Yeah.
Anyway, to just a couple little facts over the run itself. It's the fourth Hawkeye solo run. So, like the most well-known one is 1983. That was the first Hawkeye solo run. It set up his relationships with Mockingbird and one other character who I cannot remember, but I know it was important for Mockingbird and one other character.
Yeah.
And then there was like one in the 90s, one in the early 2000s, but apparently both of them were really bad.
Yeah, okay.
So kind of petered off, was always showing up in Avengers, West Coast Avengers. Hawkeye was everywhere. He turned into Ronin for a while. Then he wasn't Ronin, and then this came out. So basically, he's been around for ages, but he hasn't really had a lot of love in the comics. And actually, since this run, he hasn't had a lot of love.
Yeah,
it's kind of just like poor guy, poor Hawkeye.
It's almost like this gave him too much goodness.
Yeah.
And it was like every other comic then, since then, have been like, screw you. And it's like they're just hating on a very popular character.
Yeah, totally.
Because that's funny.
Yeah.
It's not that they're hating on him because he's shit now. The comics are aware that he had the best comic. And so now everyone in the universe are like, he's lame.
Yeah.
But in actual fact,
He's
not lame.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this run was a part of the Marvel Now reboot, which we went into a few times back in Loki Agents of Asgard. Just a big reboot, doing a bunch of new number ones for a bunch of different stuff.
That was a good time for Josh.
It's a lot of collecting.
That was when I started.
Yeah.
Look, it's good. It literally is. Give it about 4 more years and you'll be able to just sell all your number ones that you bought that day.
Yeah, totally.
And you'll have so much money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one.
And yeah, as I mentioned briefly, the run was followed by a lot of other books involving Clint and Kate. Some just Clint, some just Kate.
Yep.
Not many more with them together, but none of them have really gained quite the traction this series did. There's another Kate Bishop book coming out later this year, I assume, to kind of like match up with the show, as is normally the case. But yeah, that's kind of, I mean, that was a lot, but that's the comic curiosities for Hawkeye.
That's the gist.
So yeah, let's just dump right into the first issue.
Dump
Just dump right in.
Dump right into the first issue. And I believe Will's found the plot.
I found it.
Found it. He's got it.
I got it here. I got it here on my phone.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody, welcome to issue number 1. Clint is an Avenger. Clint jumps out of buildings. Clint gets hurt. It's all you need to know. That's what it says straight out of the back.
Yep.
It's like, it's all you need to know.
Cool.
The Tracksuit Mafia own the building he lives in. They've bumped up the rent. Big money, bro. Clint gets the big money to help pay, intending on delivering it to the suits. They're not cool with that, bro. A fight breaks out. A puppy gets hurt. Thanks to Clint, the puppy survives. It's a lucky puppy. It's a lucky puppy.
Nice.
Very good. All right. Well,
That's the plot, everybody.
that's the plot. A straight up iconic cover for this run.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Like
yes.
this is the one that you remember. If you read this run, if you love this run, this is the thing that pops into your mind when you see it. Yeah, I just love it so much.
It's so cool.
Just the black and white with the little pops of purple.
Yeah. It's. I'm so glad the series have adopted those targets.
Yeah, totally.
They know that they're important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when you were doing your like Photoshop version of the poster way back, we were like, has to look like this.
Yeah.
And then they released the actual version. We were like, for once, you
They
got it
do it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too
Yeah.
far off.
Less
Yeah.
so on the No Way Home posters, but that's okay.
Yeah, which I think at this point we're like 10 hours away from another trailer.
Another trailer.
Yeah.
And probably a good poster, maybe? We'll find out.
I don't know. There's a lot of bad ones
It's
coming
gonna
out.
take a bit.
And then we do have a variant alert for this one as well, which is a weird variant.
Oh,
I guess
this
was
is a-
this
it's a-
superior?
around.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a 50 years of Spider-Man variant,
Yeah.
which they sometimes do.
Okay.
Like they'll like it's. I think they had a 5-10 years of Miles Morales one recently, so they all like random books that weren't related to Miles at all had Miles on the front cover. But normally they have the other hero, which the comic's actually about, in it as well.
Yeah.
This one they just have Spider-Man and
With a bunch of Doc Ocks.
lots of Doc Ocks.
It is weird when that sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
Like it's something else's anniversary, or they're focusing in on something. So the variant is about that thing that has nothing to do with the comic you're about to buy.
Especially for a
always
number
weird.
one of
Yeah.
this comic.
And there's like not a lot of other variants of this comic as well. It's just this.
I will say this comic, it's like second and third and like it's iterative printings. There's like actually better looking versions of the the number one and first printing is incredibly iconic, but the longer it went and the more prints it got, there's quite nice. There's like strong purple.
Yeah, we've got one here.
got one there.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
They do, I think there's a third one as well. But yeah, they take away like a lot of the busyness.
pieces,
And very clean.
very clean.
Very clean.
I wonder how much the Spider-Man one is worth. Because surely, like, no one bought that one.
Yeah, if you're looking to get the full set, just
Yeah.
get the Spider-Man variant. If you
Yeah.
can't afford number one,
Yeah.
just get the Spider variant.
Like, because even these second printings and third printings, I looked like trying to find them. So like, it'd be nice to have one. They're also really expensive.
still expensive.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the cold open, as Will mentioned, of Hawkeye falling out of the building.
This looks bad.
looks bad. It always looks
That's
bad.
the start of every issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Shadows.
And the thing I would to note, this came out the same year as Avengers, where he does that exact move, and it's very lovely that
Totally.
we get that kind of juxtaposition.
yeah.
And then the next page we see he breaks everything, literally everything.
Yeah.
It's like it's a good insight into like why I love this series so much. It's just like he's just a dude with a bow. And it just really acknowledges that he's just a dude with a bow.
Yeah.
I think in a later issue, he just steps on glass.
Yeah.
And like half the issue
I think it's
is
the line.
so
The line's
good.
just shoe.
Yeah.
He just says shoe, and because there isn't one.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And
So good.
The rest of that issue is just
He's
he's got a
limping.
sock and it's always got blood
it
coming
just
out of
gets
it.
gradually worse and worse over the course of the issue.
We'll get to it.
It's
Yeah.
very good. And he talks about how the bow is from the Paleolithic era. Mm-hmm. He had to look it up. They make a specific point that he looked it up.
Paleo.
When is the Paleolithic era from, Will?
I believe it's from Scrat's Big Adventure. It's set before Ice Age 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's set after the new trailer, which is horrible.
Yeah. They're good at animating in that era, in the
yeah.
Paleolithic
Yeah,
area.
they were good at animating.
Yeah.
Not good at making bows. They got better at that after the Paleolithic era.
They nailed animation first because that's way more important.
But they made the first bow in the Paleolithic era, so that in the future eras they could make cooler bows, and then Hawkeye comes.
They sorted it.
Has more bows, lots of bows.
Yes.
Anyway. Basically, it's Hawkeye going through New York, kind of chatting about. We would go back and forth between the stuff with the tracksuit mafia and him recovering from this big fall. And there's just a very lovely. It shows off the clutter of New York in a very wonderful way.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so many cars, and there's lots of onomatopoeia going beep beep honk 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 honk, and it's just very like stressful.
Yeah.
Like I look at that and I'm stressed.
Yeah.
Which I love a lot. And
being stressed. You're a big fan of that?
Well, I'm not a fan of being stressed, but I like when something
that.
makes me feel stressed.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
You don't. Yeah, well, that. I know what you're saying. You enjoy
You
that it
appreciate
can.
the design.
Yes.
Yes.
Congratulations,
And
comic.
the way
Yes.
it's portrayed.
Yes, definitely.
Don't make me stressed.
Don't.
Yeah.
But like, try
to.
Try to.
Try to if you need to.
Anyway, we meet the bros, meet Pizza Dog. We get the first bit of the dog eating the pizza, which I think is very lovely. I always love that. And then, one of the other things I want to point out is just how well they illustrate combat, and it just carries on throughout this whole run of comics. It's basically this one we're looking at now. You can see it's Hawkeye like throwing cards and stuff, not even using a bow or anything, but fighting the tracksuit mafia in their back room casino, and it's just so wonderful. I think we mentioned in the Suicide Squad comic how it kind of uses a lot of these just like block colors and really simple line work and that kind of thing to illustrate combat really well. And this is, to me, this was the comic that first did it. And now a lot of stuff kind of pulls from it.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of ugly comics in 2012.
There is.
There's a lot of those comics because they were pumping out all those number ones and they wanted to make a lot of comics. There are some ugly looking comics.
Yeah, very
so
much
for
so.
this to be alongside it, it's
I almost feel like I might be giving them too much credit, but I almost feel like this comic kind of paved the way for a lot more comics nowadays to take a bit more unique art style,
say so.
to use this simplistic kind of thing. Because when I go back and read stuff from before this time, they were all the same. Like they had that's being derivative, but they all had the same kind of style. None of them were really taking these risks, and this does it so well, as we're seeing here.
It's like the Miss Marvel, the first few issues are just so bizarre to look at, and eventually it becomes kind of standard Marvel affair. But it's there's a bit of risks.
Also, these the colors in the whole run is just like everything's muted.
Yeah,
and
totally.
it gives it such a sick design. Like
And anytime they like pop a color, it's there for a reason.
Totally.
It's there to like really highlight something. As we're seeing this page, the orange is there to really highlight those.
The action.
And the other thing I'm going to mention, again, we won't go on for this for too long, but I believe we did mention in that Suicide Squad podcast that we would be going
we're going
panel by panel, which we're not, I promise. But the other thing I did want to mention is just like the other thing they do well on these combat pages is the flow of combat, and like the flow of the panels is like really clean and lovely, and
definitely.
that's all I have to say about that page.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I just on the colors, it makes this series feel simple in a way that like the 60s comics feel, because they're kind of those like this. A lot of the art in this feels like when they reference an old thing in a modern comic. When it's like Spider-Man's origin story, and they kind of draw it like this and art.
It feels like that, but not as messy. Because like a lot of my problem when reading those older ones is just there's a lot of like clutter in the detail.
Yeah.
And took them to like the 90s or even the early 2000s to get away from some of it. But just like pulling back on the detail here is really, really effective. But we get a bit of silhouetted animal cruelty, which is still hard to take in.
It's still not great.
Like I understand you got to do it for the effect, but it's not pleasant. And I love that it's one of the greatest parts of this comic is that he just buys the building off them. And that's the catalyst for the whole thing.
That's why they're a bit pissed.
We get an explanation later why he had the money, right? but it's like not till a much later issue.
Yeah, I think so.
So we just go through this entire time just being like, yeah, he had a lot of money.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think Tony Stark shows up at one point in a later issue and he's like, how do you have all
do you
this
have
money?
this
And
cash?
it's like, I do. It's a great catalyst for the rest of the issues.
Totally.
I think when first reading this, I just assumed it was like Avengers money.
Yeah.
Like it was just,
Yeah.
government Avengers money. And he was just like, I need to save all these people.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're like, yeah, just
That's fair.
take millions of dollars. It's fine.
Yeah. But I do like that they don't reveal it till a later point.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, we mentioned Lucky, the pizza dog. At the end, they give a little tease that his name is Arrow. And any other book to me would just be like,
That's
cool, his
it.
name's Arrow.
Yeah.
But I love that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
So good. But yeah, that's issue 1.
God,
issue.
I'm so intrigued to know how the show. I know the show has to open with Hawkeye's family and stuff,
Yeah.
but I do kind of hope they open cold open. Like I hope they do start at the. And it's in the trailers, him falling out of the building. I hope it does open with that scene because that would be awesome.
It's,
It almost has to, sure, somehow. Like, like it'll be that, and then it'll go back
And
to
then
his
it'll be
family
like coming
having
into New York.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because
Please.
everything I've seen of that show, and I believe I've seen a bit more than you guys.
Yeah, you watched
because
that clip.
I watched a little clip recently. Everything I've seen is like it's this run,
Yeah,
like
good.
almost shot for shot sometimes. So I'm
hell.
interested to see how they incorporate all that
Totally.
outside.
His family, like
Yeah.
we'll get to it. I think in the next issue,
His
There's-
family and also that Black Widow character, Yelena.
Yelena as well. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully, it doesn't get messy like all the other shows, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Issue number 2, Kate is in this one.
Yes.
Kate's in this one, everybody.
Like
Kate
Kate.
and Clint attend a gala full of the rich and the bad of Marvel. Your Kingpins, Madam Masks, Hammerheads. There's other people on that panel, but I don't know who the fuck they are, so I'm just going to skip over them. Entertainment for the evening is provided by the Ringmaster, the man of many circles. He hypnotizes, then he robs all the crowd. Thankfully, the Hawkeyes have brought anti-circle shades, so they don't get hypnotized. They're fine. They see what's going on.
Real good.
I skip over the cool bit because I'll let you take that, Ben.
Yeah.
But the duo then take down Ringmaster, escape with the cash, successfully pissing off most of the criminal underworld, which is a very fun end.
I think this was also where I thought that he got
It's
all
a
his
little
money
back
from.
yeah, because the
they're
whole
like-
the whole run is back to front.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is totally could have been set beforehand.
So from here on, I'm like, maybe that's where he got his money from. And then when he's talking to Iron Man, it's like he just got it from
yeah,
essentially the thieves that stole from everyone else. He stole it
he
from
just take the money.
them
Yeah.
as well.
It's Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's
much.
Robin Hood. He's
Yeah.
got a bow and arrow.
And it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he kept it. Although I guess he gave it to the poor by buying the building and allowing
He's using
everyone
it for
to-
good.
Yeah.
It's like it's Robin Hood if he had a savings account. He's like it's Robin Hood just
had a
takes
place
it-
to put the money.
Yeah, Robin Hood's a bit stupid. Like you don't want to give that money away straight away because poor people haven't had that money before. So if you give them all that money, they're not going to know what to do with it. Hawkeye's smart.
That's Hawkeye in a
true.
nutshell.
Yeah.
He's Robin Hood, but
He's
a bit
Robin Hood.
stupid.
A bit stupid.
So yeah, starting off cover. I'm not going to go through all the covers, but they make diagrams look
do.
sexy.
They
This one is very good.
I don't know how you make diagrams look sexy, but
Yeah.
somehow you do.
Like I feel like I would be better
Yeah.
at firing a bow after looking
I mean,
at this.
especially because they go through it twice in
They
this
go
issue.
through it a bunch, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
tell you how to breathe,
Yeah.
how to aim, how to
Yeah.
hold
You
your
don't know how to
shoulder.
breathe?
Well, I needed this.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fair.
is
It's been
why
a
it's-
tough 30 years.
Yeah, it's why it's one of my favorite
Up
comics.
until 2012, Josh not breathing.
Oh my god! What the hell?
Hawkeye, thank you.
yeah.
Clint.
But yeah. Oh dear.
Josh's worst words. Because he couldn't
Speaking
breathe. So.
Yeah.
Speaking
that's
of other oh dears,
Yeah.
I love this little Daily Bugle bit. We get everything awful. Oh God, somebody do something. That's comics in a nutshell,
Yeah,
everyone.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, we get Kate and Clint just chatting about, and then they head off to the party. I will say before that, Clint just drinks straight out of a kettle at one point, and just a full lot of coffee.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed that part.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
And then while they're at the party, he makes a classic Cumberbund Cumberbatch joke.
did. Yeah, he did.
Probably not the first, probably not the last. And then I think this is the cool bit you were mentioning.
Yes.
This is when they split up, and we get this cool like split panel dynamic across these next couple pages, which is very cool. Which is just every like every other panel, it's basically Kate just completely owning someone,
Yeah.
stealing an outfit,
Yeah.
stealing one of the performers' outfits, which is a skin in the
Yes.
Marvel Avengers
Yes.
game. And a lot of people were very confused about that.
Yeah.
I was not. We were not.
We were not at all.
And then in the other panels, Clint just getting absolutely owned by like a much larger collection of people.
Yeah.
And it's just, poor Clint. Poor Clint. He's just trying his best, but he steals all the money from them.
Yep.
They managed to steal all the money from these performers who were scamming everyone.
Yep.
They jump on a boat
There you go.
and just run off.
What do they say? What does he say, Josh?
Good at boats.
Yeah,
That's
Josh's
the one.
Favorite.
Favorite.
I have literally put the "I'm good at boats" stickers on my Christmas wish list
Yeah.
for my family's Elfster Secret Santa this year. So I'm really
So
hoping
good.
I get those damn stickers. If not, I'm going to buy them
Totally.
myself.
I hope there's a boat in the show because I feel like Marvel has never been on a boat. There's never been a boat-related stunt sequence in Marvel yet. So you know what?
Homecoming.
That's not a boat. That's a ferry. You can't race a ferry. I want them to be racing boats.
that
that's
type
not
of boat.
That's not
All
an
right,
action.
all right,
That's
all
not a chase sequence. I should have said chase sequence.
Sure.
That's
Yes.
all
I want a
Yes.
chase sequence in a boat. So
Well,
they can say I'm good at boats.
In the trailer, they jump off a bridge.
That's true. They could land in a boat.
And they could land in a boat, and then you could say, "I'm good at boats." Just saying, I'd said it
Fingers
first.
crossed.
If anyone,
It's
There
got
it
to.
is.
It's got to be in there though.
it's got to be in there.
Has to be in there.
He does say, "I'm good at boats." It's a very good line. I'm glad Josh got to say it because Josh loves that so much.
it's my
It's his
favorite.
favorite. Then this,
and he'll get to say it next podcast as well. So it's all good. He'll get to say it twice.
That's true. And then this page number 16, I believe, is one of the reasons I love Kate Bishop. This is just like a great summary for why Kate is great. She just firing arrows. Nothing that special about it, but I just think she looks like a badass and is like owning everyone while Clint just punches a guy.
Yeah.
And also she like shoots off the little thing, and she's wearing her like performer's outfit.
Crazy outfit.
And it's very
Which
cool.
is where she gets the arrows from too.
Yeah, she
You see
keeps
her
pulling them out of her hair. It's very
And
cool.
I think one of the cool things about this as well is the arrows are always completely horizontal. Like you see every arrow there is just fired so straight, so perfectly straight.
Yeah,
It kind
totally.
of shows how proficient she is
Yeah,
at
totally.
this. It's like nothing's kind of got an aim. There's no wildness about it. It's like freaking
Yeah.
precision.
Precise.
And I love
So precise.
I love how Clint like through this entire run is like she's just like so good.
Yeah.
Like she's better than me in most scenarios, and it's like it's nice to have a mentor kind of acknowledge that. I feel like a lot of the time you see mentors who are a bit like of an asshole.
Totally. And it doesn't, it never overshadows him as well. There's a great balance of like they work together. It's never like even in this sequence, like he's doing his own thing. And
But he's also just punching a guy.
he's totally punching, but it's like it doesn't feel like I like him less now.
Yeah.
It never makes you go, oh well, he's not relevant to me anymore. There's a good dynamic between the two.
Totally. And it also like is a nice illustration of Clint's been through his Ronin phase here. So he's
Doesn't
a bit
need-
more proficient in the hand-to-hand combat at this
sword.
point. But yeah, and then there's one other little bit which I thought was very lovely. Basically, they fight the fencing bad guy. He doesn't really have a name. I think he does, but it's French or something. Anyway, there's a good little gag there about him not being French. And they fire off a like timer latched arrow. There's probably a name for it in there, but I've forgotten. Anyway, it links to the back of his neck.
Yeah.
And my favorite part of this page, it's a great page, but my favorite part of this page is just next to him while it's ticking, there's just a little loading wheel. There's just a little Windows loading wheel.
That is very good.
And it's very lovely. I also the page before he just like sees one more arrow. Clint sees one more arrow in Kate's
thing.
head, and it's just like okay, I'm gonna be badass. And then we get another one of the
Yeah.
oh my, this is how you fire a bow. Not oh my god, just like a very the opposite, a very chill. This is how you fire a bow.
Yeah.
And he's so good. He's also so straight.
Yes.
He's
Yeah.
very straight.
Very straight.
Definitely if it's Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, it's
There's
true.
only a straight boy there.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's kind of all this issue is. There's one other part at the end, which is Clint and Kate having a conversation over the phone.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of discourse in the ETTO Discord.
Oh, really?
Discourse in the Discord.
Discourse in the Discord.
About this.
Oh,
because
yes. Read that.
There's the line at the end when they're talking to each other, and basically one of Clint's justifications for like trying to keep Kate around and keep them as a team is that he's not going to sleep with her.
Yeah.
And basically what I was reading is that Joshi thinks that's very inappropriate, just as like a reason as any justification.
Just to say it at all.
Shouldn't have been there.
Yep.
And then I was reading Jade's comments a bit later, which we'll come back to in the next episode. But
Yeah.
Jade was also like a bit more back and forth. She was like, I can see it both ways. What are your thoughts? Does it need to be in there?
I think there's softer ways to say it.
Yeah.
I think it's a funny line, and I think like as a mentor back and forth thing, it's a funny line. But I think it's a very like direct way,
Yeah.
and reading it is very uncomfortable. And like her response to it, like even repeating it and being like so
Yeah.
silly, and was like, this feels weird.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit odd.
Yeah. I always read it as like I read it as like oh, he's setting boundaries. That's good. But now that other people have pointed it out, I read it and I'm like, that is very
just 'cause she's young,
direct. Yeah.
If it was kind of like she was set up as being like a mockingbird age or something, or it's like that is a potential. In my mind, it was never a thing. So it feels like Peter Parker and Miles Morales.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to bang you. And it's like, yeah, I know. I'm
That's good.
16. What
Yeah.
the fuck, man?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it definitely just shows how much of a fool he is from time to time.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
just-
totally.
He's
Yeah.
not he's not good with his words.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of stumbling through. He's like, this is all I got for you. Like
Yeah.
really just sort of it just fell out of his mouth, and even she's just like, what an idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
What a dumb thing to say.
I think it's like, it's probably looking back on it, and I wonder if they have looked back on this page and been like, it's a bit more ambiguous than we would have liked. Because I read it and I'm like, they're clearly setting up like Clint's being a dumbass here, and that's
Totally.
a stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
But reading back on it is like a weird, like, you don't need to mention it.
You don't need to say
Yeah,
it.
totally.
It's a weird thing
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
You've already got her on board as your offsider. Like,
Yeah,
it's
totally.
fine.
But yeah, that's issue 2. That's our thoughts on that little thing, just in case you wanted to
Yeah.
know. But moving into issue 3, we've got more plot.
We do have plot. It's the car one, is what I've written.
Yeah.
at the
The car
top here.
one.
That's, the car, that's also my note.
Yeah, good.
Literally top of mind too.
There it is. Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Clint needs tape for his arrow management. Clint likes a car parked outside the local Bunnings. Clint likes the lady driving said car. Sadly, the car is stolen property from the Tracksuit Mafia, and the lady is too. We find out later more directly what that is. After a quick fondue with the lady, of course, not the car, the tracksuits break in, steal the lady, and knock out Clint. Or as I've written, knock out the Clint. I didn't mean to write a "the" in there, but it really just emphasizes how weird the name Clint is.
Yes, it's very stressful to say.
Yep. Thankfully, Kate's got a little purple VW, which I know won't be in the show, but I want it to be in the show. I'd love to see a purple VW.
Yeah.
And Clint's also got a tracker on an arrow, so they're all good. They know where it is. Cue a brilliant car chase. Somehow that looks great in a comic book. In the end, good triumphs. The lady escapes her, I'm going to say it here, bro husband, thanks to Clint. And the tracksuits, bro, they hate Clint even more.
Lots of bro.
Lots of bro.
So much, bro. It's the best.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so it's in it
Yeah.
because we've already seen the tracksuits.
Yeah,
So
totally.
it's got to be said.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I don't have a lot for this one. It's a car chase issue.
Yeah.
Kate says trick arrows aren't cool. They are very cool, Kate, and we're going to see in a second because what we're going to do is we're going to rate all the trick arrows.
Good.
Excellent.
The couple things I want to mention before we get to that, for me, it has the best sensor in comics.
Yes.
It's been made into a nameplate in the
Squeenix
Avengers
thought
game
so
as
too,
well.
yeah.
And one of the few good things they've done with that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, at one point, Clint says, "Back in a sex," and I just think we can all, I think we can all sympathize that
We've said that.
We've all said that at some point,
Or at least typed it.
Yeah. Back in a sec.
yeah,
The C is next to the X.
yeah,
It's annoying.
exactly,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about this issue, Josh, or else we're going to go into rating the arrows because I thought that'd be a fun thing to do.
Absolutely.
I was just going to say, I really like the at the start of this is like, was it? I had 9 bad ideas today.
Yeah,
And then
cool.
it counts down
Yeah.
through all of them as the thing goes. And
Yeah.
it's just very good. Just a number
Yeah.
appears.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like
Yeah.
number 9.
And
Number 8.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing. It's great. It just looks so fun.
Yeah.
Totally. The other thing I kind of like about that is just that it's never really clear what the problem was. Like for each
It's
of them,
just
you're
in
kind of having
general.
trying to decipher what exactly is done wrong here.
Yeah.
And obviously you get more context over time.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. It's a very
it's
good bit.
fun. And this is also, it's interesting that this is prominent in the marketing. And I think it's assumedly in the first 2 episodes because that's kind of what those trailers have been. And it's prominent. And it's like, it feels like the story they could take and do the most directly. But the problem is this panel that we're looking at can't happen in this. He has a wife. And I don't think they're going to do any promiscuous stuff with a Hawkeye in this. So I'm intrigued to know what the inciting thing of the car chase will be. Whether he's just like, this car's cool, I'm going to take it. And then they just chase him. Like, that's it. But we'll see. Ben's seen clips, so I don't
know. I think, but actually, I think I purposely skipped forward to just see the car
the
chase
chase.
because I just
Yeah,
wanted to
good.
see what it was like, and I knew it would be good, but I didn't want to watch the inciting bit,
actual
which they had
inside.
a bit of, so
Yeah,
I
okay.
skipped over
Right.
that. So I'm still going into that bit blind.
Yeah, good,
Go.
good. But yeah, I'm excited to see how they get to the car chase.
Yeah, totally. I didn't even think of that, but totally. Hopefully, it was a bit of brucka.
Brucka.
Yes, please.
All right, trick arrows. We're going to run through them all. You guys have to use your memory for how they were used.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we know number 1. It's
Yeah.
the best use
Yeah.
at the end of the comic, which
Yeah.
is the boomerang. That just has to be number 1.
Boomerang Arrow is number 1.
so
yeah.
good.
We probably could have come up with a better rating system for this, but anyway, it's it's not.
It's not even doing
Not
it.
even. No, okay.
You didn't give Josh access. You got to give him access, Ben.
Maybe copy and paste it into over
Yeah,
here.
that's not.
No, you got to give him. You got to give him.
I'm not going
access.
to do that.
You give him access now. You just
go
got to give him
down there.
access. He's going to give him access.
We're giving Josh access.
He's in. He's in. He's in. He's
There
in.
you go.
Main
we
frame.
got
We did it.
access.
We've done it.
All right, so Boomerang Arrow is number
Number
1.
one.
It's very cool. They set up why we need Boomerang Arrow. And then
It's
they
a good.
call it
It's
back
and
at the
again,
end.
I feel like that's in the fucking show.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not
Well,
going to play that gag.
there is, and that was in the trailer. There is a lot
Yes,
of trick arrows.
the trick arrows. They have that whole
Excellent.
sequence.
which is very cool.
Good.
So we got the net arrow at the start. Don't see it getting used.
And that's a fail.
Yeah,
He
that's a
doesn't
fail.
like that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, it kind of
So-
it trips him
Yeah.
up a bit. Hey,
That'll probably be down the bottom. I don't know exactly how many we have here, so we'll work it out.
I think it's 13.
Okay.
Based on what I can
Well, let's
see
just
right
put
here.
it at 13 to
Yeah.
start with.
It's a shit
Yeah.
arrow.
And the bowler arrow.
Oh yeah, that was another
just to
fail.
tie up
He
the
didn't.
guy's hands, but I didn't think he wanted
right.
He
the
didn't
bowler
want
arrow.
that to happen.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a good arrow.
yeah.
I would say let's put it at 10 because
Yeah.
there's probably shit ones that can fill 11
Yeah,
as well.
totally. Acid arrow. I think this is a good arrow. Maybe
It's pretty good.
Underutilized, not
Underutilized,
effectively utilized. But I
Shoot
think
at
it's a good
someone's
arrow.
face, which he wanted to do. If the bowl arrow is to be determined, he wanted the acid arrow for that. So, like, if he was shooting at their wrists, did he want to disintegrate their wrists?
That's true.
Like, what were you going for,
Jeez.
Clint?
Yeah.
So what was the acid? It went into the front of the car. Was
Yeah.
that
Just
that one?
melted the
Yeah.
car, which is it's a great arrow.
Yeah, would have been pretty good.
What do you reckon? Like, that's pretty high up.
It's pretty high up. So like maybe a 4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah.
5. Let's
give
give
it
it
5
5.
for now.
Tracer arrow, very effective.
I would say 2.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can confuse someone with that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
just
It's pretty good.
Totally.
And there's also in terms of like usefulness in this comic.
Yeah, it
that's-
actually is.
it's very
most,
important. Yes.
arguably the most important.
Yeah.
Putty arrow. I just think this sticks to a guy's head or something.
It sounds like something out of Prey. Or,
I say this is like 11, 12.
yeah.
Yeah.
Josh?
That was the one where it was just like stuff came out, right?
Oh,
And
no,
it made
no,
them
that
all,
one
like
was
gluey
no,
stuff.
that
it's kind
one
of
was
sticky.
good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
No, I'm getting them mixed up with the suction tip arrow. Suction
Yes.
tip arrow, that's 11 or 12.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would've been
12.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12,
Yeah. Putty arrow was quite cool. Yeah.
It was like a sludgy kind of.
Yeah.
It was like an oil, like
Yep.
sticky stuff.
It's a nuisance one. It's not better than. It's not better than. What did we put at 5?
acid arrow.
Acid. That's not
Yeah.
better
So
than
maybe like a 6 or 7.
Let's give it a 6.
6.
Yeah.
7.
We give it a
7.
7.
Yeah.
Ben
Right.
said 7.
This is the worst way to make a list, but we're committing to it anyway.
We're on brand for our employers.
Yeah. Sonic arrow.
Sonic, so it was very noisy.
Yeah.
I think
That-
everyone had to cover
Yeah,
their ears
it was
and
useful
stuff.
there, and I think he uses it later on as well when he breaks glass. So it's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I would maybe put it above acid.
The acid one, so maybe a 4.
Maybe a 4 for Sonic.
All right. Yep, I'm
I
down
don't
for
know
that.
about that, but we'll come back to
Interesting.
it.
Yeah,
Right.
we can make some movements.
Explosive tip arrow. It's just a bit
So
generic.
it's
a
kind
bit
of just a
generic,
bomb.
and
Yeah.
it's also like I don't know. There's going to be very few circumstances where you need it to blow up.
yeah.
You're killing a man, Or if you're blowing up something, you can probably use one of the other ones.
I also feel like though it's better than like the bowler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
So maybe like a 9.
Yeah, we'll give it a 9.
Yeah.
Cable arrow.
That's like a 3 or something.
That pulls 2 together, right?
Yeah.
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 And it's also
That was
just a
pretty sick.
general thing that you'll need.
Yes,
It's
totally.
good to have
totally.
it. It's like grapple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3, yep.
Smoke bomb arrow.
Smoke bomb.
I love that this bit, he's like, it works.
Yeah, totally.
I love a smoke bomb.
Yeah.
I do love a good smoke bomb. So I think the next highest that we have would be a 6. So it'd be like a 6 or an 8.
Give it a 6.
Maybe a 6.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Rocket arrow.
Just fires Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
What did the rocket arrow do other than despite the bomb one? Is it just very fast?
I don't know. I don't remember it.
From memory, I would think I was actually a bit weirded out by this one because I don't think it really does anything.
Yeah, okay.
I think it just like he says he has it and then he
It
fires.
it
it
doesn't
off
work.
somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Right.
that can go on 11.
11.
Yeah,
Yep.
give it one of the bottom ones.
And
Yeah.
electro, so
Electro means electro goes at 8.
I think 8's the last thing we've got.
Eight's the last
Feels
thing.
about right.
Yeah, that feels good.
I think we
fun.
need to move around.
Yeah?
I think that was
What do-
pretty
what do you-
good.
What are you thinking? What do you want to move?
Well,
You weren't happy with Putty.
Putty
Was it a putty or explosive tip?
Not explosive tip.
No.
I'm fine with that.
No, I think explosive tip. I'm happy with that being there. I think I would switch smoke bomb and putty.
Yep. Smoke bomb, definitely. Smoke bomb is definitely more useful than Putty.
Yeah, cool.
No, smoke
is
bomb
it
is currently
changing?
more useful than putty. I would swap them because I think a putty is very effective at stopping one person. Smoke bomb might do nothing.
But it can confuse a whole room.
That's true.
You can stop one person or you can get out.
That's true.
You can Jordan Peele's get out.
Yes. And
I feel like that's okay.
I was going to make an us joke, but I couldn't work out how to weave it in.
It's also no one remembers what happened in that movie, so it's,
Yeah.
I never saw it.
it's terrible.
Right, do you want me to run through?
Yes.
in the order?
Our official
right.
ETTO rating of the trick arrows from issue 3 of Marvel's Hawkeye Fraction.
It's what
2012.
everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For nearly 10 years is this exact list from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boomerang arrow, tracer arrow, cable arrow, sonic arrow, acid arrow, smoke bomb arrow, putty arrow, electro arrow. I'm needing to track
Yeah,
these
yeah.
numbers down. Explosive arrow, bowler arrow, rocket arrow, suction tip arrow, and finally net arrow.
Yeah.
Very good.
There you go.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Should have done it in the opposite order.
I know, it was
Yeah.
weird. I got
That was my
confused.
bad.
I was like, where are we going?
Boomerang arrow 1. 'cause
Boomerang
There it
Arrow
is.
one.
Net arrow lost because it's the worst.
It's just a bit average.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to work out how to edit that, but that could be a bit of fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we have for issue 3. That was a fun little.
That's a good one. That's a good fun episode.
Fun little thing to
It's
do.
an episode. It'll be an
It
episode.
is
It will be,
basically
yeah.
an episode.
Very
Yeah.
excited.
I
for
do
that
love an issue where it's just like you don't have to point out a lot of things and you can do a fun thing like
can
that
just
because
enjoy
it's
it.
just like
Yeah.
it's just a fun middling episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this comic, it kind of goes along with the numbers as well. Like the numbers and the naming of the trick arrows and stuff really makes this issue stand out and,
Totally.
and be more than if they weren't there.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty boring
be a
without
chase.
it. Yeah. But the fact that they've thrown in there those things, it's almost like, new mechanics for a game or
Yeah,
something. It's
totally.
like something
Yeah.
kind of like exciting and something to look forward to and look out for.
I think we unanimously
As the issue goes.
love this issue. It's just like
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It was
very
like one of the things from this whole run that we shouted when
Yeah.
we
Saw
the
We're
trailer.
like, the car!
The car.
If you want to, I believe that's up on the YouTube
It is,
channel.
yeah.
if
It's
you
on
want
at
to
least
go
socials. It's up on socials.
watch our reactions to that, we do get very excited by seeing a car.
The same
in
car
trailer.
as well.
It
Very
is.
cool.
They just nailed it.
But yeah, issue 4.
Issue 4.
Just we'll quickly note issue 4 and 5, different artists, different,
so.
different
Yeah.
line work.
Right. Yeah, cool.
It felt.
Yeah.
It felt. It's like feels a little softer. I think is what it is.
Initially was like, oh, I like this change.
Hmm.
And then reading through them, I realized I actually, because as soon as we got back to Aya in issue
next
6,
one,
I was like, oh, this just works better with
Yeah.
what you're going for here. But
Yeah, there's just something about the faces that I don't think are quite as striking in these issues. Which is lucky because a lot of the time they're covered. Issue 4, there's a leak in S.H.I.E.L.D. and a tape that mustn't be seen. Black S.H.I.E.L.D. credit card in hand, Clint heads to Madripoor. It's lucky that we introduced that in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's almost like we need to go there in this show. Alone, to ensure the tape, now going up for auction to the baddest bidder, doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Without any knowledge of where the auction is taking place, New version of the name. Clint stumbles from taxi to diner to eventual Madame Mask kidnapping. Mask delves deep into Clint and nabs the infinite money of S.H.I.E.L.D., using it to acquire the tape at the auction. Surprise! Mask is actually Kate Bishop in disguise, and Mask is gagged in that room. And Kate's got the tape now. She's going to watch. She's going to watch what she's going to find out. I almost put the notes together, but then I'm like, that's a good cliffhanger. So let's just talk about this and then we'll go to the next one.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Kate was Madame Mask.
Second time she's dressed up.
Yeah.
It's a cool little recurring
talent of hers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Deception.
Yeah. No, I do like, there's like little hints across the issue, like, because we knew the twist. You can kind of read it and you can kind of see where they're alluding to it.
Yeah.
But it is very like, the first time I was reading this, I was
It's
like,
a surprise.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Once you know when she's reaching in that Clint butt, you're like, yeah, this isn't fun for her.
Yeah. I also had a realization that while you're going through that and you're talking about how Madripoor was set up and they almost need to go there, I was like, I wonder if they're going to do this story. I doubt they will, but I was like, I wonder if they're going to do this storyline.
Yeah.
But it's Clint and Bucharest.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They bring back Bucharest. You know that thing they mentioned?
Vaguely.
And that's why they have Yelena involved.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Don't recall.
They could do that.
You know Bucharest from the Black Widow movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember Bucharest.
You don't mean Budapest. You mean
Budapest.
Right.
That's what I meant.
You mean Budapest.
Budapest.
Well, I don't think you're wrong. I think
too similar.
I think Yelena could stand
be.
it because I don't know if they're going to introduce Madame Mask. I know it would make sense, but I do wonder if Yelena might be Madame Mask. Like they might slip in a character we have to not have to introduce someone like that. Because the thing with Madame Mask, I don't know, there's at least an interesting character design. She's basically what Sharon Carter was up to. Like she's basically a power broker working in the background, getting the things she needs and all the rest. So it might be tricky to introduce a different character. So maybe having a Yelena to take a role that doesn't need to stick around might work well.
Yeah.
But maybe Budapest.
I also didn't realize until reading this issue that Madripoor doesn't exist.
Oh, yeah,
In
it's
real
like
life.
Wakanda.
I thought, it sounds like an actual place that would exist in the world. And having there was a shot that has the very famous building in Singapore that seemingly has the big kind of round boaty thing on top. I was like, oh, is that like the capital of Singapore or where the city where that thing is?
Yeah.
Because I don't know geography.
No.
I'm terrible at that.
He's good at geometry, though.
That's right. Yes, geometry. Give me a angle at any point in time. Jeez, that sucked. But I looked it up and it's like Madripoor is their like fake version of Singapore or a city kind of inspired by Singapore's design and layout and stuff. It's cool.
It's interesting because definitely the first time I believe this comic was my introduction to Madripoor, completely in Marvel stuff, and so it was So my initial assumption was, oh, it's Singapore, because unlike Josh, I recognize that, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's their version of Singapore, because I know that the capital of Singapore is Singapore.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know geography. I don't know these things.
It's such a good dig, though. It was such a good journey to just for him to say that.
Yeah. But definitely it's weird because I don't like it is kind of their version of Singapore, but it's more just like a general Asian.
And it's also for criminals.
Yeah, totally. And that's why, to me, looking back at this now, I'm like, this is very jarring that it's like so outwardly the Singapore hotel.
Yeah.
Because it feels like
just for bad people.
Feels like not a good thing to be alluding to.
Weird thing to connect.
But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this issue. You went through most of it. It's probably, if we're talking out of all these six, probably the least.
It's a setup one.
It's very much a setup one, other than the big reveal of Kate being Madame Mask. We get the Madame Mask initial reveal. I mean, she pops up in an earlier one, but no one.
She was part of that.
No one knows who she is.
Yeah.
We get like another who's who of Marvel villains. I think you mentioned earlier, we got a Kingpin, we got a Mandarin.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I literally looked at that.
A Hydra person.
Ra's al Ghul? No.
Yeah.
That's the one that we have. Yeah.
Crimson Cowl.
Crimson Cowl.
Against Byzantine.
Oh, yes.
who I know, and the Mudgier.
Red Mr. Dr. Manhattan.
Yes,
For
that's
sure.
it. And
Cal.
I do like that they started with Clint kind of getting you got a detention speech from Cap.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very good. He puts his hand up at one stop.
Yeah.
And is like, stop talking. And the only other bit I wanted to mention is there's a little taxi battle over a
Yes,
wallet
yeah.
in this issue, which I thought was very fun.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just multiple people like jumping into the taxi.
into the
to try and
taxi,
grab
yeah.
it. And it's like a cool setup for like him having to drive the taxi around and
Yeah.
do all that stuff that he's doing in this issue.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's issue 4. Quick one.
Yeah.
Let's run straight into issue 5 because we got so many issues to get through. Only 2 more for this.
2 more.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're fine.
But
We're
then
fine.
7 for the next
the
one.
next one, yeah.
Pretending like we're recording this right afterwards.
Yeah.
It's very long. Issue 5 time. A tied up Clint jumps out a window. He does it a lot throughout these
Yep.
comics. And I'm so excited for that to be a recurring gag in the show. There's no way they won't do it.
The start
There's
of
no way.
every
Yeah, the start of every episode.
episode.
Yeah.
A muscless bishop watches a tape. On it, Clint Barton appears to murder Du Kei Feng, an incident previously tied to a Navy SEAL, startling Kate as Clint had told her he'd never killed anyone, at least not directly. There's no way that he said that with confidence. He's killed people.
Yeah,
It's
surely.
like you've killed someone.
Yeah.
I guess
fire arrows at people.
at
like-
people's necks.
Yeah.
You're probably killing someone.
Yeah.
But that's fair. Clint Barton is still falling, but is rescued by Maria Hill in a. Well, it will probably not happen on Disney Plus. I will say we don't have that version of Shield, unless we do. Like a part of me does kind of wonder if they might do something like this. It's a floating like little hoverboard because we've
It's almost
got
like a scooter.
because we've got like the
a
sword
moped.
stuff starting. I'm like, maybe they are rebuilding Shield in the way that in this they talk about rebuilding Shield. I'm like, maybe they will pull upon elements of that.
That would
Probably.
be pretty funny.
It'd be pretty
Yeah.
good. We've got
Leading
little
into
full-
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
And the 10 rings yet to be named show. Spoiler for Shang-Chi if you have to do
10
that.
rings yet to be named show.
Well, that's what it is.
I hope
It's
that's
true.
it.
I hope that's what it's
Please.
called. Untitled Ring Show. Clint Barton, as I did that bit, Kate gets in a spot of bother with a real mask and is escorted out of the hotel without the dreaded tape. Thankfully, Clint arrives and the Hawkeyes head back to get the tape. Making their escape, however, Marsh takes a shot at Clint, shattering the tape and basically his spine. It turns out the tape was fake. A hot piece of evidence, hoping to flush out the Shield leaker, and Clint's okay. That's the final. I like that. Clint's okay.
Clint's
Yeah.
okay.
Clint's okay.
It's good. He
Pretty
didn't.
good.
He didn't murder anyone.
He didn't murder
Never,
anyone.
ever.
Ever. He's never done it. He wasn't. I wonder, maybe that's his reasoning. Ronan isn't technically Hawkeye. So
That's
whatever
true.
Ronan did wasn't me.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the whole point of Ronan is he kills people.
But the fact is, Kate is talking to him as Clint.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Clint was
didn't-
Ronan.
Yeah, that's true. Hawkeye wasn't Ronan, but Clint was
no.
Ronan. It's fine. Yeah, we can't really do that. We watched Clint Barton slit a man's throat in Endgame, so we can't really get around that. So
Full murder. But yeah, this is the kind of the wrap up of the Madripoor arc. In this initial bit where Kate is watching the tape, I did notice it says cacuffle instead of kerfuffle as the onomatopoeia,
Kerfuffle.
which I thought was very
Interesting.
weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's like to do with Kate, like
Kate,
Kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
Maybe. Basically, it's like
Kerfuffle.
Kerfuffle.
the real Madame Mask is making noise in the back room. But it's just very weird.
Weird that they
It
wouldn't
is.
write
It's a weird little one there.
Kerfuffle.
And
Love
then the next page, which Will mentioned of Hawkeye just falling out a window.
It's so good.
But I just love that it's Kate with the mask on.
Yeah.
As Hawkeye is just falling in the background.
And he looks so calm.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he's trying anything. He's just sitting.
It's also a very comic book thing. Like that can't happen on screen because in action he's already gone in a frame.
Yeah.
Like it'll be
is
hard
true.
to recreate something like this unless it's a slow mo sequence or something because he'll just blitz past a window.
I will say, from what I've seen of the show as well, not spoiling anything, very interesting camera techniques being used
Oh.
compared to other stuff.
It looks
Watch.
very
Yeah.
unique compared to most.
So
stuff.
they may not be able to do that, but they may be able to capture it.
In a
they
different
may
way.
be able to capture a similar vibe.
Yeah, cool.
Unless they do quick shots between each of their stories.
Yeah.
So it's like he's fighting, she's getting found out,
Yeah.
he jumps out the thing, she's like, whoa.
I just mean
and
the
then it happens
still
at the same
frame.
time.
Yeah. No.
You won't see him. You like visually will not see him fall past a window.
Yeah.
He'll be a blur
Yeah.
compared to this. Totally, they can.
I feel like
there's
yeah,
editing.
I feel like movies have done it before.
You won't get
you
this
see
moment.
stuff. Yeah, you see stuff kind of falling out like that, like people things
Yeah.
falling behind other people.
Yeah. Then Madam Mask and Kate have their little moment.
Yeah.
The bit I love about this is Kate throws like the biggest rich girl tantrum and is just like, I will scream very loudly and
Yeah.
feed her up like trying to
Yeah, I love how stiff-bodied.
yeah. And Madam Mask is just like, no, no one cares.
Yeah. You're in a rich
Yeah.
place.
yeah.
Yeah,
You don't mean anything.
just the mother on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Also, like her lines to Kate in this particular page and like following is brutal. She's like, I will burn a whole packet of cigarettes
intense.
She's a bit.
into your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a good setup for a villain.
Totally.
Especially given the fact that like we're introduced to her in like she's been defeated already.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she comes back and is
You're
like,
this isn't
I'm
fun.
yeah.
I will say throughout this, she never has a mask off. Like even though Kate
Yeah.
disguises as her, she's in the background with the mask on still,
Yeah, that's true.
which is odd. Maybe in the room. I mean, in the room they do show different wigs.
That
and
is
stuff.
also the other thing I wanted to mention when the reveal happens at the end of the previous issue. I think the initial time I didn't quite understand it because of the different art style on this. I didn't.
Doesn't
it's
look
not
like Kate.
obvious it's Kate.
Totally.
Until
Yeah,
the next page, and so I was like, "Hang on, what's going on?
Who is
here?"
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because it could just be Madame Mask with
totally.
the mask off.
Yeah, we don't know what she looks like.
No.
But anyway. There's that page, and then there's this, which is just a fun onomatopoeia, the glass.
Glass.
Again,
Very good.
weird use of K, but
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah.
It is just an arrow shattering the glass.
Yeah, and this is also
Glass.
the page where we get the shoe.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And again, I mean, I'm sure you haven't seen it enough. But this feels like the one show where an inner monologue would be awesome.
Yeah.
Like we're just not even in like the way this is single lines. It would be cool.
Yeah.
But just keep Ben. Just all the way through.
Yeah.
All you can. And I will also say there are I don't know. I'm gonna as well. I have a thought. I have a thing that I know of, and I'm gonna I'm just gonna
Cool.
We'll just continue to. I will also point out, just this is a good segue into issue 6, where these people also show up. But I like that there's just random like bad guy goons.
Yep.
Here, so
Totally.
we've got a couple Hydra guys, and then we've got an AIM guy.
An AIM guy.
And an AIM guy shows up at the start of issue 6.
It's true.
yeah,
That's true. Issue number 6, it's Christmas. Well, not yet, and it kind of never is, which is really strange. But
it is in the TV show.
yeah, at least it's Christmas in the TV show. It is certainly December. Clint, Parker, and Logan take down some AIM goons. And that's what they do. They take him down, which is great. It's lovely. And I wish Tom Holland wasn't bound by a legal contract and Hugh Jackman hadn't finished.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been lovely.
No, they might bring in other guys.
I mean, I feel like Sam Wilson is in this show. There's no way that Captain America isn't in this show.
Will they do the classic? I guess I say classic, but it's more the current Marvel thing of bringing in holograms.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's just a hologram. God.
Yeah.
Maybe. Clint finally decides to unpack before being told a stray error has messed with the entire apartment's telly. A little bit. Kate regifts the bow from Clint. Clint attends a rooftop snow barbecue, which is
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
it's very odd.
we do that in Australia because it's hot.
Yeah, we can do it at Christmas. It is weird that they just keep barbecuing. But there's the mafia guys, and he gets taken away. It's the same thing that happens quite often throughout this. Gets kidnapped and all that, which I think we basically see that in the trailer as well. There's a sequence very similar to this. And the Trek suits, again, they aren't fond of what happened in the previous 5 issues.
Yeah.
With the apartment slowly coming together, though, because Clint gets out somehow. I can't remember how he escapes. Clint asks Tony Stark around to help untangle and plug in his AVs, and then on Christmas Day, December 19th, he has people over.
This is a very just difficult issue to kind of piece together.
That's why
the
I tried
timeline.
to get it in order here.
It's like I do like this issue, like it's very fun, but at the same time, I was constantly like, "Hey, did this happen now or then?"
and then
Or-
sometimes it says 15th and 16th, but
Yeah.
then the next page is about the 19th.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's very
Yeah.
odd.
yeah,
Yeah, the timing of all of these is nuts.
Yeah.
I do love it's like basically the first issue, first page, where around the outside is all the AV equipment.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
it's like accurately plugged into
Totally.
where you would expect
Yeah.
it to be plugged in.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like very cool, very sleek, like square design.
Again, they make diagrams look
They do.
sexy.
They do. I
They do.
love it.
Yeah.
They do.
But yeah, no, totally. We start off with Tony Stark, which again, not too thrilled about.
The most RDJ I think
yeah,
Tony Stark has
definitely.
ever looked.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I think we talked about it in the Agent of Asgard comics. Clearly, there was some kind of directive to make the characters very MCU based, other than Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Yeah.
because like this came out around those Avengers films.
Yeah.
It's very clearly.
so him.
And
It's
then,
crazy.
like later on, he spoils dog cops.
Yeah.
Which he would do.
Totally.
Robert Downey
Yeah,
Jr.'s
Robert
Iron
Downey
Man,
Jr.,
would do that. Especially after he's just like he knows he hasn't watched it. He
Yeah.
says something like, "Just so you can catch up on dog cops, the bit where this happens," and it's like, "Wow, you are one of those people."
Angus
Yeah.
Ronald.
He's a Gus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a Gus.
Yeah. I believe this is the first time we get Gil,
Yes.
the barbecue.
Rooftop
He's
man.
Yes.
unnamed at this point, but he calls Hawkeye Hawkeye.
Okay.
The classic line. Love
Yeah.
it so much. That's kind of like my boat. For,
Yeah,
yeah,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
I like
Yeah.
shoe.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
That's
line.
a good way, yeah. Yeah, this is also basically where I was reminded of the MASH reference, which is why I
yeah.
jumped
That's
to that.
why it's
earlier, 'cause
there.
it's
Yeah,
like, the guy
totally.
from MASH, Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as Will mentioned, the bros come back.
The bro's back.
And we meet Grandpa Bro, King Bro,
So good.
Super Bro. What a bro. That was my notes.
Whatever. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good.
He's just he's a bro king.
He's a broking.
Yeah.
He's a broking man. He needs healing.
And then at the end, Clint is like babysitting.
Clunt was what you just. Clunt Clint.
Such a fraught name.
It's not fun.
Anyway, he's just kind of babysitting, and the mum's there though. But it doesn't strike me as the person I want babysitting my
Of
kids.
everyone in the house, in the apartment block.
Yeah.
Gil.
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 He'll cook your kids a barbecue.
Your kids.
Cook kids. He'll just throw on some MASH.
Yeah. Loves throwing some mash. Kids and mash. My favorite.
That's it.
Yum yum.
Bangers and mash
Bangers
took on
and
a new
mash.
meaning.
There it is.
Anyway, that's
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, there was the part like so he gets threatened
yeah.
to leave, or he gets threatened and told that he has to leave the building,
Yeah.
or he will kill or leave the city.
Yep.
Or the tracksuit mafia will kill everyone in the building. So he's like packing up to do that. He gets the bow and
Yep.
gets someone in the building who is a delivery person to deliver it to Kate.
Yep.
Kate turns up and is like, "The hell is this? What are you doing? What are you planning?
Yeah.
Like, you can't do this." And then he's like, "I've got to leave, otherwise they'll kill everyone." It's like, "You're a freaking hero." And she basically just kicks his butt with words.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's just like, "This is the worst part about you."
Yeah.
And then leaves. And it's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
And then he decides to stay. Because
Yeah.
he's like, all right, I need to be better than this.
Yeah, I think this was why we chose to leave it here, because I believe Josh was like, "Do
Yeah.
we do up to 6 or 7?" And then it was like, "It's a good point at 6 when he makes the decision." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
a very good like,
It's a good resolution and cliffhanger
yeah,
at this point.
yeah, and it's just like I do enjoy that kind of the bros go away for a bit. We have a little mini arc.
Yeah.
And then we realize the bros are still around. And
Yeah.
It's a big bro.
It's a big bro.
It's a
Sure.
super bro.
Big bro watching.
Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, it's a nice like resolution, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah. The bros will return.
So and we will return in
will.
a month, maybe less. I don't know. Who knows exactly when these are coming out?
Yeah.
But we'll probably record it soon.
Yeah.
And then we'll get it out to you in December. That'll be your December comic cast. This is your November comic cast.
Yeah.
So normally at the end we do, what are we doing next?
Well, you've already read it. We know.
You've literally
Probably
read
have.
them.
If you haven't, read these and
yeah.
then read the next 7.
7, correct. Josh can count.
yes.
It's 13.
Yeah. He did it.
7 to 13.
But yeah, and then we'll.
Love the silence we had that like math.
We're all doing the maths in our head, and then
wasn't.
we will come back for
I was waiting for someone else.
we will come back for something next year.
Yeah. What's in January?
I tried planning this a few months ago, and it's still quite hard. Nothing has hard dates
No,
for
it
2022. Everyone's being very tentative.
Maybe we do something Spider-Man at least in January, coming out of No Way
Yeah.
Home. There's an easy.
That's true because we decided not to do it for September.
Yeah,
For
for
December, months are hard.
Yeah.
Because we've read Spider-Man plenty. You've all read Spider-Man, and we wanted to do Hawkeye because we love Hawkeye.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we can do something for Venom.
yeah, never, ever.
Let there be carnage, Ben. Let there be carnage.
No,
Okay.
just nice.
No.
Happy. Okay.
Just happiness.
Let there be happiness.
Let there be happiness.
That's our message for you
That's
guys.
it.
Yeah.
Boomerang, best arrow.
Boomerang, best
Thank you.
arrow.
Good night.
I don't know. I thought Putty was all right.